tiefling, but not the tiefling you think she is. She went off. I hear the sound of cooking goats, somebody smashing their toe in obscenities, but a little bit before that, I don't know if there's anything substantial that I missed.
Only conversation Marawa had with wolves.
Got it. And anything come out of that, Marawa?
Yes, there's recently been strangers in the castle who smelled of ashes and death. So I assume that whatever is making the speaker sick is probably due to these people. But they left a while ago. So we'll have to just, if I assume what we'll need to do now is talk to someone in the castle who can tell us who was recently visiting.
Got it. Okay.
So you're currently in the common area here, the mess hall of sorts, and you hear on the left a couple of obscenities being uttered as they're stubbing their toe, and movement and clanking of dishes and bleating of goats on the other side of the door. This door right here is cracked open a little bit, and you see what look like cots and beds in this room here. It looks like this might be servants' quarters or a housing arrangement for some of the servants.
Can I peek inside the door? Oh, never mind. I closed the door.
There's not much there.
I'm gonna go where the sounds of goats are when my turn comes up.
I want to talk to the girl, the tiefling.
Okay. And as you come up to the door, by the way, I'm gonna do this. As you come up to the door, Nuktuk, you hear the bleating of the goats on the other side, as well as a conversation happening between a woman and a man. And you open the door and you see the woman that you saw just a moment ago, the young girl, the red tiefling in very shabby clothes. What looks like she's clearing off leftover food bits into a giant bucket of sorts, and is feeding it to the goats. And this woman is talking to this man in the corner saying, I think the speaker would probably be due for his afternoon meal. Have you heard anything from him besides his constant need for fish tacos? And the other guy would go, nah, just haven't heard anything. But he does really like my fish tacos, though. I really make good fish tacos, don't I?
When right in the middle when they're saying that, I just go, hi, I love fish tacos.
Oh, you like fish tacos? Great.
No, I love fish tacos.
You love fish tacos. Awesome.
Can I help with cooking?
But that's my job.
I know. I just wanted to see if I could help.
But I don't need. Well, my mama said I do need help, but not that kind of help. And he's just sitting there looking at you, totally not paying attention to anything else. And he's got a couple of what look like fish scales that are coming off his hands. And you see behind him on a table an absolute treasure trove of trout, fish.
So
just sitting there, and it looks like he's scaling all of them to prepare them for something later.
So like in an anime, when that moment where one of the characters like gets super excited about something and they just become all eye and all mouth and just like little flashes around their face of like light. That's basically him right now.
Are you a fish connoisseur like our speaker?
I mean, yeah,
Good.
maybe even more.
Because that's all we got, man.
That's amazing. And then I go into my bag. And I pull out the Remorays meat. I was like, "You ever cooked this?
No. What is that?
That's a giant worm."
I don't know how I feel about eating worm. That's fish food.
All right, and I put it back in my bag.
Damn, I thought he'd be more excited about eating something other than fish.
Ryan, just a quick check. I've read through the Dragonlance book a couple different times. I don't ever remember seeing tieflings mentioned.
I don't think so either. Your
Excellent. Another new race.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Your encounter with this might be a bit interesting. But Nuktuk, as you're having this conversation with this man, the young girl is sitting there and scraping all of the bits into this bucket and putting it up for the goats. She's not making any sort of eye contact with you whatsoever, and just kind of trying to be out of the way. Merwa, you said you wanted to have a conversation with her?
Yeah, I wanted to talk to one of the servants that are milling about. She is the only one I knew about, so yeah.
Okay. You make your way inside and you see this tiefling girl putting bits of discarded food that is no longer being eaten, the table scraps from the meal previous, and giving those to the goats in a bucket. And you see Nuktuk seeming like he's having a very interesting and regaling conversation with this man in the corner. Karu, who has yet to introduce himself, he turns to Nuktuk and says, "Hi, I'm Karu. What's your name?"
I'm Nuktuk.
Nice to meet you, Nuktuk. That's a really interesting name.
I was gonna say the same about you, Karu.
I like this guy. And who are you? Looking at Merwa.
Oh yeah. I am Mirawa Galadonel of Terramain.
Nice to meet you, Maro. How'd you say it again?
Mirawa.
Mirawa. Okay. Cool names. I like them. Anyway, I'm going to get back to scaling these fish. Nuktuk, you said you wanted to help?
Yeah, I'm great in the kitchen. Just ask her.
Is
He actually is quite good in the kitchen. You would be quite grateful for his help.
Great. We have new guests and I have... Wait, you're not here to replace me, are you?
No.
Good. Because if I found out you're here to replace me, you might be sleeping with them fishes.
So I take my cape of the fashionista, and instead of it being on my back, I put it to the front, and I use its little magic to change it into a glorious apron, which then I tie around my waist.
Yes, I love it.
That is phenomenal.
That is on point for Nuktuk. Thank you. I appreciate that. I can get behind that. That's awesome.
I told you I'd finally figure out ways to be able to use it.
Hey, man. Cooking in style.
This was just a moment where I was just like, I think I can do this.
And as you see him, he's got a really odd knife in his hand as he's scaling all of these fish. And it seems like he's doing it very easily and deftly. Karu is a bit too involved in working with making the fish for another meal. The small woman, the younger tiefling woman, pays no mind to either of you. She's still feeding the goats and trying to be less conspicuous. And out of the way.
Okay.
Seeing Mirawa head in that direction, I would speak into her mind and be like, Mirawa, do you know what that creature is?
I look back at you like you're crazy and racist and say, this is not, well, no, that's not Mirawa, sorry. I look back at you like you're crazy and say, and can I think back a message? Is it like a sending spell? Okay. Oh, okay. So this is an ongoing. Oh, all right. She thinks back at you. It's a tiefling. They're rare up here. They're rare anywhere, but they're of actually I doubt Mirawan knows. They're a tiefling.
You say they're rare everywhere.
Yeah, they're not, there's a lot of humans. There's a lot of,
Well, yes. But you're saying they are not like Nuksucks people, where they're mostly found in the colder climes. Or the mountainous climes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Not to Mirawa's knowledge. They don't inhabitate anywhere in particular, tieflings.
And I realize I just now found the flavor text for what you guys were walking into. The main hall that you guys were currently previously in, this once grand hall is dimly lit by chandeliers that are missing most of their candles, but some of those candles are still lit with that white light. 3 long tables in the center of the hall are littered with dirty dishes, which a young tiefling servant is slowly collecting. A stone staircase ascends to a pair of 20-foot-high balconies that hug the walls. On the north landing, directly across from the main entrance, hangs a banner depicting the town's heraldry, a stone watchtower on a dark blue field with a horizontal red fish facing to the right under the tower. So think Swedish fish. The happenings in the kitchen area, I guess, continue. Looks like you're probably in there. Marawa, you notice that the woman is trying to not make eye contact with anybody, and she's being very narrowed toward doing her job. She's trying not to cause issue or get anybody's attention. She's trying to look small.
I understand. Can we continue?
Yes.
All right. So as I'm approaching her, that's what Emerald says. Emerald, do you remember? Is there anything you want to say?
No,
that was it? Okay. All right. As I approach her, I'm going to help her feed the goats. And I'll probably bend down to one of the goats and kind of like say, or ask it, are there good table scraps tonight?
One of them will respond with, bah, it's okay. Could be worse, though. I could still be eating crap.
Was there better table scraps not too long ago? Maybe when strangers came?
No. Menu hasn't changed. Still fish. Smells horrendously, though.
Okay, so not like honored guest. Okay. As I'm looking up I look up at her and see what she thinks. Is she a little less wary of me, more wary?
She's not paying much attention to you. She's just, again, trying to steer clear. It seems very odd. You're trying to make an inroad with this woman, but she doesn't seem like she's interested in talking to anybody.
All right, I look up at her and I ask, I'm sure you have seen everyone coming and going from the castle. Do you know who visited here lately? Who visited the speaker before he was ill, perhaps?
She'll probably respond with, I don't know. I just clean up the table, and I'm not anybody to ask questions of. I only work here.
$19.
Your insight checks kind of gives you the feeling that she's wary of visitors. She's also wary of being a servant. That if she does something wrong, it might come back that, she'd be let go, or, worse.
How they let go of goats.
But she seems like she's concerned about backlash from doing something wrong.
Okay. I'll give the goat a last pet and walk out.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing in the main hall?
Ryan, I wanted to try something.
Okay.
Can I? So they're talking in a different room, right?
The servants that were in the kitchen area were preparing another meal, and Marawa and Nuktuk had walked in and did their thing. Yes.
No, I'm talking about when Mero is talking with the tiefling.
Yes, they had their conversation in another room.
Can they be seen from the main room?
From here?
Yeah.
You'd be able to see that she's in there, but not with the current happenings in that room. It's kind of hard to hear. Why?
Right. I wanted to see if I wanted to try something that I was suspicious of. If I can see her, can I cast a spell on her?
Sure. What kind of spell are you casting?
Dispel magic.
Okay.
I'm trying to do so without her seeing me.
Okay. You don't get the sense that there is a spell cast on her, as the magic that you manifest trying to remove arcane power, there's nothing there. It seems like it is a physical, a non-tangible, non-magical effect.
Okay.
But there is scuttling happening in the other room here, and it goes quiet, seeming like things have settled in the other room. And you hear what sounds like a door closing above you. And I will move.
Does anyone else get the feeling that the speaker's turned into some sort of fish monster?
We'll
No,
see.
it's way worse.
No, I mean, what else do they have here? They're kind of running low.
Goats.
Well, aren't they slaughtering goats somewhere?
I mean, you're feeding goats, and
Oh, yeah, but goats are milk and cheese.
I guess they could be, but he's not eating cheese, he's eating fish tacos. Also, these wolves are supposedly going to hunt things. Also, didn't somebody tell us that there wasn't any fish in this lake, or that they weren't fishing anymore? I swear we heard that at some point. So where did all these fish come from?
Oh, I figure it's their reserves. That's just my assumptions, I suppose.
I take it, Teef, you were wanting to go into that room?
Well, seeing as how there was noise and movement in there, I would like to go try and figure out what was going on.
Did we lose people?
No, didn't lose anybody.
Who did you lose?
Yeah, I don't know. So, Teef, as you walk into this room, you see a very odd, kind of portly fellow. Think of Chris Farley when he was saying big guy, little suit. And he's sitting there in a stool, trying to read a book, and upon closer inspection, you notice that the book is actually upside down, and it is like tattered and ripped and very, very old. Like he did this all of a sudden to try and not gather attention. Hello. Well, what, can I help you?
There seemed to be an issue coming from this room. Are you okay?
I stubbed my toe. I was trying to get myself acquainted with the room before the master really called upon me.
The mask?
Master.
Oh, okay.
See, you must be new here. I have not seen you before. Who are you?
I am Teef, and I give like a small, not like full bow, but like kind of lower my head enough that it's like
A nod.
trying to be courteous.
I got you.
All right.
And Teef, as you're standing there, the man in front of you kind of does a nod himself and says, "Well, welcome to Caer-Dineval. The master is currently busy with writing up treatises. I will let him know that. Is it just you, or are there more with you? I seem to remember there being talk about somebody that come into town moments ago, but I don't know if that's you
There
or
are
somebody
a
else."
few. There are a few others. So what is it you do here?
I am the master's right-hand man. I get his food, I get his paperwork, I get his bucket, I get just about anything. I am the gopher. Go for this, go for that, that kind of thing.
So you're his assistant.
Yes.
Chamberlain? I feel like that's the word.
Basically.
Yeah. He just doesn't say that word.
Doesn't sound like the steward.
So
Yes.
I see you're reading something. What is it you're reading?
Well, just a book that I found here on the desk, and you see in front of you there is a small desk that looks like it's been thrown into the corner, out of the way, and it's seen better days. You see scorch marks along the binding itself, and you see the lettering has deteriorated so much so that you can only see scraps of it. It looks like it was once gold, as you see small flecks, but outside of that, it's really hard to tell what it was. And he says, "It was just a book I found in the library. I was trying to look busy."
If you were trying to look busy, you might actually read the book in the proper manner. And I walk over and I flip the book right side up.
Oh, you're right. Apologies. And as upon closer inspection, as you write the book itself is written in Draconic.
Can I tell what the title is?
Unfortunately, with the book itself, there's no title page or title heading on any of the pages. It looks like very eloquent script, but again, the binding, as well as the
outside doesn't have. Yeah.
Right.
If I was to take the book out of the guy's hand and say, "Do you mind if I see this?" and just like flip through the pages, do I recognize it being something that I've seen before?
Give me a history check.
Okay.
You see that as you flip to the inside front cover, there is a small symbol on the inside. It's not a letter, it's a rune or inscription, and it's not something that you recognize, but you see on the other side what looks like a history of Dragonborn, and in very, very grandiose script that's kind of too artistic. And then at the very bottom of it, that same symbol is again printed at the bottom of that inset front cover.
Okay. And so, while I'm flipping through the pages, just to kind of like not even paying attention to the guy that's standing next to me, I'm gonna yell for, or like talk loudly to Emerald to see if he's available to come take a look at this, to see if he might be familiar with this.
Okay. The man standing before you says, "Look, I'm so sorry. I never. You said your name was."
Beef. And I turn to him with like a really toothy smile.
Okay. Give me an intimidation check as you're standing there talking to this portly fellow that's kind of concerned that a dragonborn gave him a
Come on!
mouth of teeth.
What are these twos?
And he says, teeth. I see where you got your name. I am Thoob. But I'm ready. And he walks into the other room.
Thoob the boob.
That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. Am I wrong, Lloyd?
Nope. So if Thoob is a bit of a boot, is Teeth a bit of a...
No. We're gonna leave it alone.
No.
But I didn't see anything.
He knocks on the door before entering, and he says, "Master," and closes the door behind him. And you no longer hear any sort of talking on the other side of the door. But you're standing here with this book that has seen many better days and fuller pages, so to speak. Emerald, you did hear Teef say your name.
Yeah, I will float my way into that room.
Trailing a nice, lovely trail of crimson along the cobblestones. And you fly in, and you see that there is a small desk that's been pushed into the corner, and a couple of other papers that are laid there. But Teef is holding a book that's burnt and charred, and with script that's no longer visible besides the ones that are on the inside of the cover.
I just hand him the book and say, I don't know if you speak Draconic, but seeing as how you seem to understand something of their ways, do you understand anything that's in here, or is this something that you might be familiar with?
I don't know the language off the top of my head, but if you want to give me a couple minutes, I can find out. Oh wait, hold on. Wait, pause, freeze times. That's a ritual. Yes, I will sit down. Actually, you know what? Screw it. I'll just cast it.
Do you have it as a prepared spell?
I do. I've always had comprehend languages and tongue since the beginning.
Nice. Okay. And you cast the spell, and you notice that the same description on the inset cover. You see a sigil or inscription and a symbol that is not easily recognizable. Can you give me a history check?
History check?
Correct. The symbol itself doesn't seem recognizable at all. but the title page on the inside states the history of Dragonborn, and that same symbol is again reflected at the bottom center of the title page.
And just a
Oh,
reminder
this.
of the situation of like this dragonborn appearing person stealing this book from this poor helpless person just sitting in a room reading, calling in one of his
Fake
non-dragonborn companions to be like, "Do you read Dragonborn? Oh yeah, I do. Just a second. Let me cast a spell that I just, just to give everyone some perspective."
I completely am not lost on the perspective of this, but at the same time, it is definitely something that my character has no. To give you guys an understanding, I have the Dragonborn look, but I don't know too much of the Dragonborn life or what their origins were or anything. So anything pertaining to Dragonborn would be of particular interest, partly so that I can actually understand my disguise a little bit better.
Yeah, so I'll pick it up and just be like, "Oh, this is actually of interest to myself at least. I don't know about you, but it is the history or the origin, I should say, origin, right, or history?
History.
History. It is the history of Dragonborn, which is, from what I have gathered, is quite different from here than on my own world."
Interesting. And I produce Spark. Seeing as that nobody else is in the room with us, I'm gonna produce Spark, and I'm gonna look at Spark and look at the book. Can you fix the book and have Spark cast Mending?
And who were you talking to? You're
I pulled
asking.
out Spark,
Uh-huh.
and Spark has the ability to cast the Mending cantrip at will.
Right. Okay. So the small construct that you manifest starts to have a small appendage grow outside of the case that you see, and it looks like it's causing a small concentration of matter or material to be pulled back from the ethereal and manifest into physical material that is associated with these pages in this book. It takes about a minute or so, and you notice that the pages themselves start to knit back together, but the words or the written script does not reappear.
Okay, but it fixes the book so it's no longer in its burnt, charred condition.
Roughly. It'll take probably a good 20 minutes or so of constantly casting Mending. This is a book that's probably 180 pages deep, discussing history of Dragonborn.
Okay. At the very least, just trying to, not let it deteriorate further.
Okay.
And then I'll put Spark back and say, I think this might be something that would be of interest to both of us then.
And at that point, the conversation is kind of halted as Thub returns, going, "Good news, the master seems to be available. He is no longer taking care of a treatise that was originally provided to him by me, yours truly." And he'll step out of the way. And behind him, a red tiefling will walk out. And he will bow and says, "Hello, greetings, welcome to Caer-Dineval, the home of, well, me. Greetings, welcome to our humble abode. I am Kadroth, and who do I have the pleasure of acquainting?"
This guy just appeared in the main chamber?
He just appeared in the same room that you guys are in.
Oh, that we're in. Okay, gotcha.
The antechamber to the
So
headquarters?
It's just Emerald and Teeth right now, correct?
Yeah, unless
Yeah.
people wanted to walk in, that's fine. But the conversation is happening in this room. The door is wide open as well.
Got it.
Where's the tiefling?
He's in the room that on the left, bottom left.
Where are you?
I'm in the room too.
Oh, I see you now. You are underneath Emerald.
Hey, Ryan, real quick, just can I try to very stealthily cast Detect Thoughts?
Are there verbal or somatic components with that spell?
There are both.
You can certainly try. You can give me a sleight of hand check.
This will go well, I'm sure.
I feel like if you were to use the book,
Natural 20!
And that is the best time to do it. As this
Just
man,
working it into the conversation.
as this tiefling walks into the door, into the doorway, and bows and greets you all, he says, "Welcome to my humble abode." And you, Emerald, you get this bubbling thought of, "Please don't ask stupid questions. Please don't ask stupid questions. Please don't ask stupid questions." And you hear Thub in the corner go, "So what brings you all here?" And Kadroth kind of just gives a slight defeated look. Yes, as my assistant asks the same question I would, what brings you all to my estate?
Can I just
I would
clarify?
like to insight check. What's going on between these two? Is one of them pretending to be the speaker? Like, do I know who the speaker is?
You can give me an insight check. With your insight check, between the two of them, you can totally tell that there is a subordinate role here with Thub, and the tiefling man holds himself of high regard and high standing. But you had not heard of a speaker being a tiefling. You heard most of these speakers here are usually of half or mostly human descent. So a tiefling being present here is kind of odd. And calling this his abode kind of seems off as well.
Right. Isn't he supposed to be sick?
We had heard that you were ill. Are you feeling better today?
Oh no, that was the, that was, how should I put it? That was the previous speaker. He has taken a leave of absence to feel better. I have taken over in his stead to try and make sure that Caer-Dineval is on the up and up.
What was that speaker's name?
And you're asking that out loud?
Yeah.
That was Speaker Crannock.
Crannock.
He's fallen ill recently, and he has retired to the small chamber above. Karu is constantly providing him, sustenance, and in the hopes that it rebuilds what he has lost.
I am eager to see him. Perhaps I can help with this illness. Speaker Kadroth.
I think we should let him rest. It's been an interesting few weeks, and I think it might be better for him to rest now.
And what are the underlying thoughts during this entire conversation?
The stupid questions are still being asked. The underlying thoughts are I need to find a way to get rid of them soon. Sooner rather than later. Why is Thube such an idiot and just letting them in?
While he's
But,
having
like,
these thoughts and this conversation started, can I leave the kitchen and enter into the main area where everybody is?
Yes. I think I am going to need to take a moment and use the restroom. I'll be back in a few. But
I have
at this
one
point-
stupid question for Kadroth when he gets back.
Okay. If you guys want, it might be a few minutes, so take your time. Take a break. Restroom, drinks, that kind of thing. I'll be back in a few.
Charm person, we could just use Phantasmal Killer. Like, that'll work too.
I guess this is a great time to walk into this conversation.
Isn't it though?
Well, so to give an idea, though, I was thinking about casting command on him, but I don't know if that would
Hello.
actually do anything for us.
It would.
Because that
It
would only
would.
be for one round.
Make him grovel.
Say hello.
It's enough. It's enough to put him in a submissive state. That would be poor for him. And if I had the capacity to use my my bardic inspiration, I can lower the DC save or increase the DC save by a D8, which you've seen many a time before.
I'm pretty sure did you wait? I feel like I don't know if it was the session before or if it was during this session or this session previous to the last session. I thought I had an inspiration, but I don't remember. I don't know if that's already gone. How long does it last?
That was 2 sessions ago when I gave it to you, and they last 10 minutes.
Can this
okay, yeah, it's gone.
tiefling look any more like a bad guy? Like, is it possible?
Oh, just
Really?
wait, it gets better.
So
If the DM is back, I would also like to make a note that I was going to be kind of like scouring the room because you said that there was a bunch of books and papers and stuff. If there was any books of interest.
There are scattered papers, not books, and it looks like they are missives or messages being sent throughout 10 towns, talking about happenings that are going on around the area. Nothing really noteworthy besides constant inquiries about the speaker's health, and that's about it.
Okay.
yeah, so I'll ask. So how long have you been speaker now?
That's actually only happened within the last day or so. Speaker
And this
Cronach
was decided by the previous speaker.
Yes, he felt that I was. How should I put it? I was capable of taking the mantle and assisting in keeping this place going and afloat.
And what is the service thoughts of that whole exchange?
Surface thoughts would be
So I just walked into the room.
I think, yeah, he sees that. I think his surface thoughts would be honest, trying to
And I also
things
smell
back
like
in
fish.
working order. He has a moment where he thinks of the docks themselves bustling again, and bringing in commerce and wealth and trade, and then says to you, I feel it is an honor to assist the speaker, well, now myself, in said effort of trying to rebuild. In the next 10 days or so, we're going to have talks with East Haven to try and get the ferry back in working order. It seems that for some reason it's been under. It's gone under. Like there's nobody working it. Unfortunately, we need to figure out why and fix that, because that's our main point of contact, point of commerce, point of investment. And without it, we're starting to sink.
I mean,
Well-
isn't the export of this place knucklehead trout?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And hi, I'm Nuktuk.
Greetings, Nuktuk. I am Kedroth.
And I just I'm wiping the fish guts off of my apron,
And
like right in front of him.
I would appreciate if you would clean yourself up in a less
In the kitchen.
yes, more where
And then I
would need to go.
turn my apron around and put it around my back, and I look at his cloak, and I'm like, oh man, that's nice. And then I turn my cloak into the same looking cloak that he has, like with that color and trim and everything.
Interesting. You are intriguing. And all of you notice on his stomach area a crystal. It is of ice. And it's a triangular shape. It kind of reminds me of what a diamond would look like as a profile view. And he wears it with, how should I put it? With pride. That's the word I was looking for.
That's an interesting gem you have there. What is it?
Oh, it reminds me that sometimes life ends in a very cold wasteland. But still, efforts need to be made to make it so.
What was the surface thought on that one?
Surface thoughts would be,
Did someone hurt you?
they know very little.
I'll say, well, Speaker Kadroth, I think I might be able to help you break up the ice.
Oh, good,
Uh,
good. I've been trying to find somebody that would be able to do so. Seems that some of these fishermen are just beside themselves in woe and misery because they no longer have constant access to their poison, the ale, I guess, from East Haven.
Oh, okay. Well, I think we're here for a rest because the inn is closed down. Do you perhaps you could show us to
the servants' quarters across the main hall would be available for your use. As recently, some of the servants have left because there's not much work besides taking care of an ailing previous speaker. But the room is for your use. You can stay the night. Karu will have prepared a nice meal. Thub, and he'll stand up at attention. Yes? What can I get you, sir? I only request peace and quiet. I have things that need to be arranged for the morning. Kadroth looks back at Marawa and says, in the morning, we will break the ice and we will set out for East Haven, correct?
Are you sure you won't have Mirawa here check on the previous speaker tonight? She is quite an accomplished healer.
I think all he really needs is rest.
And the surface thoughts?
I think his surface thoughts would be a long, deep sleep might be what's best for him.
Do I get the sense from that thought that he means a permanent sleep?
You can roll an insight check.
Not my... Oh, actually, I do have fairly decent insight. 15?
You get the sense that he might not be as evil as he looks, but there's also something that's still uneasy about him. It's very odd. There's something amiss, definitely, but he didn't seem exuding ill will toward the previous speaker.
Just out of curiosity, I noticed that there's with you and your kitchen staff in there's at least 2 tieflings that live and work here in Caer-Dineval. Are there any more? That you're aware of?
Yes. We had the presence of a masterful woman here not that long ago. She, from what I understand, she left about a night or 2 ago. I don't know why, but the story she would tell about her time down south. Thought it always very interesting.
Is she red like you two?
Oh, no. Sadly, I don't know why, but she is as white as the snow outside.
Oh, okay.
It was very curious to know.
And you said she was masterful? I don't know what you mean by that.
Oh, masterful in art of magic and arcana.
Oh, is she the one that lit all the torches and the lights in the towers?
Yes, she did have a bit of an interior design eye, and I appreciated that, as did Speaker Krenos. It seems that even though she can be very shrewd, she can still be effective in what she does.
Hearing Maxwell ask these suddenly interested questions in this random tiefling, I would have turned my direct thoughts to him. Justin, what was your surface thoughts there when you were asking about this tiefling?
Looking for somebody that I suspect is a member of the Arcane Brotherhood.
Ah, okay.
And did this tiefling have a name?
She did. One second.
After I got that impression from Maxwell, I would have immediately turned my attention back to the speaker.
Her name is Avarice.
You wouldn't know that.
I understand. I'm just helping you out.
No, I know. He says that the white tiefling was a friend, and her name was Avarice, but let us not dwell on the past. Let us move on. Let us move on toward a brighter future with the ice being broken, the fishermen being back at work, and Caer-Dineval moving in a positive direction.
All right, what surface thought did I get when he said, "Let's not dwell on the past"?
I'm so fucking glad she's gone.
Okay.
So, why did it ice over in the first place? Like, did the previous speaker simply order a stop to the fishing industry? Like, why did it ever stop?
For the longest time, it's been nearly 3 months since we've had the ferry stop in. Our trade has almost halted due to the ever-present cold beginning to get worse, and on top of that, they closed the ferry, and so the ferry is the only way we would get most of our goods out and sold. East Haven is the closest place to sell any of our fish that we catch. Outside of that, we have no real trade or...
Well, you have other fishing boats. Why would you not send your people to whatever city he's been saying? I forget. East Haven. Thank you. Why would you not send your fishing boats to East Haven in lieu of in the absence of the ferry?
The ferry was the source of the income, as in, if we had our boats go to East Haven would get a cut of the fish, as opposed to it being docked here, us getting the materials, us preparing the materials for market. It was a very one-sided deal, and it wasn't working. If the ferry wasn't coming to us, we were losing money. Originally, we had a larger hold of Lac Dinneshire, but since the winter is not abated at all, things have gotten worse, and the cut has reduced quite significantly to provide East Haven with more fishing territory. It's concerning, as we are now slowly dwindling in number and ability.
At the beginning of that whole stretch, this is probably at the end of my minute, I would feel like after this thing, I would have moved my detect thoughts over to the dumb one. Yeah, that one. What are his surface thoughts while this speaker is going on this spiel?
Yeah,
I like birds.
You get some really stupid, like, elevator music. And dare I say it, there is a single thought that comes out of his brain going, the golden flipper.
That's a callback.
And then all of a sudden the elevator starts up again. Just not paying attention to a damn thing.
Okie dokie, it's probably in the end of the minute.
So we will prepare the feast hall, and we will get, well, I don't know about the rest of you, but have you tried any of his fish tacos?
I don't.
We have not. Are these the ones that the previous speaker loved so much?
Oh yes, and still does. It seems to be his main order, day in,
Please
day
let
out.
me incite those fish tacos.
No, don't make them. They're going to be amazing.
No, like I want to know if like he's poisoning the fish tacos. That was so weird the way he said that.
So you get the sense from your insight check that they are absolutely to die for.
Uh-huh.
Clever choice of words.
Yeah.
I think so too. No, there is no nefarious undertones with his statement.
Okay.
Well, these fish tacos are going to be awesome.
Yes, they're going to be off the hook, as some of the fishermen say.
I like you. You're trustworthy. You just got a real trustworthy face.
with that conversation that we've had the entire time, did we ever figure out what it is that was ailing the previous speaker, or just that he was ill?
The only thing that was ever mentioned was that he just had fallen ill. There was no statement of what his diagnosis was. There was no statement of why he's feeling that way. It was just that he's fallen ill.
And do we know how old this individual is? Like, is he at the last leg of his journey kind of thing, or what?
I mean, based on any conversations I might have had with Trovis, like, and just being a citizen of Icewind Dale, like, I mean, should have at least a moderate idea of the speakers that exist in each location, right?
Right.
Also, just a glance at his picture, he's got like white hair and like wrinkles. So I'm gonna go with kind of old.
Not the current speaker. I'm talking about the one that's currently ill.
Yeah.
Like, if the guy that being ill is somebody that's on the last legs of life, does it really matter to try and heal somebody like that?
At this point, Thub looks at Kadroth and says, "Oh, Master, I need to go check on something. I'll be right back." And he makes his way out the door and into the other room. And away.
As soon as he leaves, I would like to go outside and summon Tresemme.
Okay.
And
Ooh la
send-
la.
Out here?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, just out the front, just like at the very beginning entrance, like outside. With where the wolves were. And I'll summon Tresemme, and I will send her flying up to the windows and just have her. I'm just gonna kind of like, I'm gonna go in this corner right here, and just kind of sit with my. I'm gonna sit down, put my like head on my knees, and just make it look like I'm just like resting, really tired. And I'm gonna look through her eyes and send her to look through each of the windows on the second floor.
Oh, on the second floor. Where did you put her?
I mean, I would have summoned her into my hands. Look, making sure there's no one around to see me first. And if I don't see anyone in view, I will just send her up and flying.
Okay.
Is Kadroth right behind, like the door behind Kadroth that he came out? Is that towards the second floor?
No. The stairs here, the middle set of stairs go up to a landing and then branch off to either side. And where did you go? Okay. Hold that thought right there. This is what you see. This is the upper area of the same building. And you see a doorway here and a doorway here. Let's do this. So, Jeremy, please denote where Tresemme is going. I think you should have control of her. Yep.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. I see now. Yeah. So if I send her up, she's probably just gonna go to the nearest window, which is right there. Oops.
Okay.
Did not go where I wanted her to go.
Where did that come from?
There we go.
And Marwa, as you make your way to the second floor landing, you see on the other side here.
Oh wait, they're letting me do that? They're not gonna stop me?
You're walking around. There's no guards that are visible here. There are two doors. One
cool.
Here and one here.
I thought I would have to like wild shape and sneak my way up, but okay. If they're just gonna let me walk, cool. Yeah, give me the nearest door. Into the door.
Okay. As you go to that door, it is actually locked.
Yeah. Oh, damn. All right. Well, before I start blasting locks open, let's shut up. Let's go to the next door. How about that door? Is it locked?
It is also locked, correct.
All right. How about? Oh, is that Tresemme out that window? Is that what I'm looking at as a
Yep.
window?
You see Tresemme outside. You also see Emerald below you.
Okay.
This is the landing above, and this is Emerald in the corner.
Is there a third floor?
There is not a third floor. It is only 2 floors.
Okay. You can come. You can go to Tresemme while I plan my plot of attack on doors.
Okay, sure.
I mean, I'll probably end up just going down and getting Nuktuk. Like, he's the sneaky one from what I understand. So I'll probably just go down and get him.
What you understand?
I love
me.
the
Come
giant
on.
Goliath is the sneaky one.
I don't know. Where do you have these tools, Emerald? I don't think I've ever seen you pick a lock. I think I've seen Nuktuk pick a lock. Or I'm thinking of someone else. Nuktuk, do you have these tools?
No.
Was that a yes, no, or a maybe so?
Did you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, I said no.
Ugh. I must be thinking of something else.
So, Emerald, as you have Tresemme flying around, where is she going?
Yeah. So she's looking in that first window, which I now realize is just into the main hallway. So then she will, after she looks in there, it's like, oh yeah, duh.
Oh, is there glass?
Why is
Or can I see Tresemme? Like, can I...
You can see her, and it is...
Is it glass?
I don't know. I have to go back and
Or is it an open window that I can talk to Tresemme?
Tressemme's already flying. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. She's flown away from the window.
Outside the window, I'm...
She's flown away from that window, though.
Oh.
She looked, like I just said, she looked in, saw that because I'm looking through her eyes, being like, oh, wait, I know what's in here. And then I flew to the next window.
Oh, okay, bye.
So yeah, she's over there. She's looking into this room.
I would think that they are windows that are glass. I don't think that they would be open.
That'd be freezing.
Yeah,
All the time.
It would be freezing. This here is another glass window, but you look inside and you see a woman standing here at the door. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, stop that. And she looks like she is watching over a male in the corner. And it looks like he's stooping or bending over or something. You can't really see all too well in that corner.
So she's standing at the door watching this person?
It looks like she is standing there and watching over this man doing something.
And he's in this corner? That corner. Okay, well I'll have her fly to the next window to see if she can get a better view of that person.
You see that there is a bed in the center section here. And it looks like the man is bending over. He has his face somewhat close to the bedding itself. He's sickly, pale, whether it be from being up here in the north that, you don't get that much sun, or just looks disgustingly sick. But looking at the concentration he has on his face,
Is he pooping?
yes, he certainly is.
Excellent.
You hit him with a magic missile, he might lose his concentration.
Are you gonna shoot a magic missile into his darkness?
Oh my god.
And that's on YouTube.
Is there like a ledge for Chesamay to perch on? So she's not just like hovering, flapping outside this window?
There is a small ledge that she is able to perch on, yes.
All right. I'll have her stay there. I will come out of that view so I don't have to watch this man poop.
Give the man some privacy.
I am going to, but I will have Chesamay stay there, and I will go back in my own sight.
It's the first time I've ever seen anybody poop D&D.
And I will go back in to the main hall.
Okay.
And I would grab... Mirawa seems very, very 10-town centric. So I'd probably grab her and bring her outside.
Okay.
Or ask her, Mirawa, would you come outside with me for a moment? Something I would like to discuss with you.
Okay. And as you're gathering Marawa to go outside, Kadroth has made his way out here, and he's made his way to talking to Karu and the female tiefling that's in the same room, and he's directing them to prepare a somewhat large meal for the rest of you, in preparation for the hopes of a better tomorrow, no pun intended. And does kind of a clap, and makes his way back out and climbs the stairs to the second floor, and makes his way to the western side of the building and takes out a key on his I think it's behind the amulet that he has, and he unlocks the door, and walks through the door and then closes it right behind him.
I'm just drawing a couple pictures.
That was the sickly man room that he walked into?
No, he went to the other side of the building.
Oh, gotcha.
And where are you drawing pictures, Justin?
I'm in the main gathering hall with the sketchbook out and drawing
okay.
a couple of
Not
images
physically on the map. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because Dennis would do that all the time, and it drove me nuts. Anyway,
Does
in character drawing pictures.
Gotcha. Good to know. As all this is happening, Marawa is outside with Emerald, right? And what are you two doing outside?
So I would basically have her, ask her to come sit next to me, take a seat next to me, and I will telepathically link with her again, go back into Tresamay's vision, and while I'm looking through Tresamay's eyes, I will relay to Mirawa everything that I had heard. I'll be like, so I have this ability that I can do where I can read people's surface thoughts. I know, it's not as creepy as it sounds, I promise. But I was doing that while speaking to Kadroth in there. I definitely get the impression, as I'm sure everyone did, that there is more going on here than we think. He seems to want to get rid of us for some reason. He does not like having us here, even though you have offered to open up his docks and break up the ice. He seemed to want to get rid of us, and while we were asking him questions, he had the thought of something along the lines of, "We know so little," in a very sinister sort of sounding thought. So, just there's definitely something going on here. I know you consider yourself to be a protector or a guardian of these 10 towns here in this frozen land of yours. And just thought I should let you know. And while I'm relaying this in my mind, I am looking through Treseme's eyes to see if he is still pooping or if he has moved on.
Yes. And as Tresemme is sitting there, you hear a thought come from her going, "Why am I enduring this?" As you're continuing to see him turn red, like he's having a hard time, and nothing has
Does
changed.
he look like he's about to have a testicular hernia because he's pushing too hard?
Possible?
Guys, the poor man's just constipated, guys. You just need to give him a good laxative, and he'll be all better. I solved it.
But as Tresemme is still sitting there watching this man take a giant duke in...
Or at least try to.
Yeah, or at least try to. You see a door right behind him as well, and it looks like the door itself was singed. There are scorch marks around the outside of the door frame itself.
Okay, well, Mirawa is not the most comfortable with Emerald, so when he pulled her outside, I think she sat like a fair distance from you, and then you started talking about seeing into people's minds, and she's like, yeah, that's why, like, to herself, she's like, yeah, that's why I don't equip any of the, like, helmety things, because you guys all seem very intrusive mind-wise. And then she'll say, in her head, I guess, though it looks like she almost talks to you out loud, because this is not her jam. She's like, thank you for letting me know. I did pick up on something with the insight that I could, yeah, like you said, we could probably all tell. Yeah, it's concerning to me that we know little, but I imagine that is something that you or the others will find out, whatever this seeker is really up to. I'm more concerned about getting the speaker on back on their feet first. So if you have any way to get me in that room, I could probably help him.
You have a very strong laxative.
Something better.
What Tresemme can see, he just needs to.
All right. Well, I do have something that can cure any illness or disease. So
Is the guy who's taking a poop, is that the old speaker, or is that some guard?
yes, we are following rapid attention the bowel movements of a guard, and that's super what we're talking about. No,
Are you guys with us, or are you guys by yourself right now?
We're outside.
We're by ourselves, and we're
Okay.
talking in our heads.
Okay, but
I assume that.
So that's a guard, right?
No, it's not a guard. Have we seen a picture of the speaker?
I mean, I know what the speaker looks like.
So if I were to explain to this person
Yeah.
who's pooping to Mirawa, does she feel that description matches?
Yeah.
Yeah.
here's
So,
the real question: does he look sick?
Wow.
Yeah.
Why is the sheets and unable to poop? Probably. Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay, so Emerald,
So
I
if-
asked you, is there any way you can help Mirawa get into the room? Is where we're at.
Hold on. Before we get there, which I will answer. But
Okay.
if I giving Mirawa the description of this person who's pooping and pale as a sheet, and sickly looking, does that match the old speaker that she would know of?
Yes.
Oh, I missed that. Okay, perfect. Following that with that, I do not believe so. He sits here and thinks about the spells that he knows.
Oh, you know what? Is the balcony open? Like,
There's no balcony. It's just a window.
Correct.
It's a sheet of. It's not even a window. It's probably more like a sheet because it's super narrow. If you look at it, probably just a sheet of glass.
ask Tresemme if she sees a way to get to the room offline. Like,
So
Sure, I will send Tresemme around, like up onto the roof. Did I see like any sort of like fireplace in there?
There is a chimney that goes to a fireplace, but there is a grill that goes across the top of it. And it looks like it is mortared in the brick itself.
So, how big is this grating, though?
The grating itself is small enough that it doesn't allow rats of a somewhat large size in, or birds. So think of like you would see on a barbecue grill almost. That kind of grill is input into the flue. So
Like a small enough mouse could fit down that.
yeah, just barely a mouse.
Okay. Are there, when we were flying / walking up to this?
Why don't I just turn into a mouse?
Yeah, you can go for it. Tresemme will fly down. Bear will turn into a mouth and ride Tresemme like a mouse.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
I love it.
And Tresemme will fly up to the chimney.
Oh my goodness, no! I'm gonna do my typical weasel because those things are so good at getting into little mouse size.
Yay big.
They're rodent size. They're rodent.
I feel like a ferret's bigger, much bigger than a mouse, though.
They're just longer, but they're like a snake, or like an octopus, where they can like get in places.
Yeah, ferrets can get anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
They can.
I'm gonna feed my
weasel
arms
into anything. Yeah.
on top of a Tresemme.
So you see two furried creatures flying in the air. One of them takes well to the wing, the other does not. Physically, can't really tell mental, acuity here. But you see them fly up to the top, and there is a small smokestack that is coming up, and you can see that there is a small trail of smoke. But outside of that, there's not much that you can see. But Tresemme is going to drop her off in the chute.
No, not drop her. Like drop her off on like the ledge, the edge of the seeing that there's smoke. Drop her off on the edge of the chimney, so she can have as somewhat control going down, so she doesn't just drop into the fire. That's probably down there.
Yeah. This will be fine.
Little fire never hurt no one.
Okay, so I can attempt. I'll at least attempt to climb down. Like maybe it'll work, but if not, I'll just switch to something winged at the end.
For ease, give me a dexterity check with the stats of the creature that you're in.
So that's yeah, sure. Weasel is over here. There you are. Did he say athletics?
A dexterity check.
Okay. Oh man. Well, there's no like resistance.
So you're trying to weasel your way, no pun intended, into the grate itself. It's somewhat hard as it's a very narrow grate, but you're able to do so. The only problem is now is that you have probably about a 30-foot drop from the top of the stack to where the fire currently is. And you can clearly tell that there is a fire going because there is smoke coming up.
All right. Well, I will get my claws dug into the brick and shimmy on down.
Okay. Give me an athletics check to try and climb down without falling.
Damn it. He said dex again, didn't he?
No, athletics. So you're trying to hold on to it. That's strength, not dexterity. You're trying to hold your frame up and not fall
Oh man.
versus. Ooh.
All right. Well, I will be using both wild shapes, and I will be.
So, before that happens, you fall 30 feet. You take 14 points of bludgeoning damage. On top of, you land in the fireplace, which also spreads fire. And you land in that fireplace. Give me a dexterity saving throw as you, because 14 points of damage will more than likely take you out of Weasel. Okay. And it's going to be a d6. You take 3 points of fire damage as well, as you find your way into the room, but your ass is on fire. Literally.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll just kind of like. I have produce flame, but I guess that's not the same thing as control flame. So.
Correct.
I'll just.
And as
roll.
you do that, the woman on the other side is freaking out, going, "What the? Who? What? Why? How? What are?
All right.
What?" She is confused
So
as hell, and she has brandished a sword at you because all of a sudden a person has materialized out of a fireplace, and she is concerned.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll put myself out, and I'll hold my hands up, and I'll say, my name is Mirawa. I am simply here to cure whatever ails the speaker. I mean you no harm.
And the man on the other side, and he is not really caring about anything in the world right now other than he is taking a massive duke, or trying to. He stands up and goes, "Thank heavens somebody has come to help me get this shit out." And he is like super freaking pale. He is super thin and frail as well. And he has dropped his trowel, standing in full frame. Just so, how can you help me?
Okay. I'll say, all right, well, why don't you pull up your pants and come on over here? Do I get a sense that he's being poisoned? What do I get a sense that is ailing this guy?
Give me a medicine check. Okay. So looking at this man and him describing what's going on with him, he seems to be having an issue with being unable to sleep. And you're looking at his physique. He is severely atrophied. There is muscle that looks like it is thinned greatly. And notice that he has bags under his eyes, and just not looking all that great. You get the sense that it might be poisoning, but the kind of poisoning doesn't seem normal, as you've heard of poisons such as hemlock or other herb substances. But it seems like this might be referring to mercury or a metallic poisoning that's causing his current state. And you see him stand up and try and put his pants back on as he's coming over to you. And you see the belt that he's wearing. It used to have a very worn notch, probably a good, say, 5 or 6 inches further than where it is currently. He seems like he's lost a lot of weight.
Okay, so I get a sense that this is not arcane. I get the sense that it's like herbal, essentially, like mercury or something, or
Yes.
what is I'm trying to think of anyway. Okay. Well, all right. I'm gonna have him. All right, so I think I have something. Have you been, eating anything weird lately? Could you also tell me who was visiting before you got ill? I heard there was a white tiefling.
Well, let us be frank. You're here to help me. I don't feel like answering questions that aren't needed.
Okay, so let me rephrase. Let me phrase what I'm saying. I'm asking him these questions as I am taking out a glass jar and I'm got a little bit on my finger and I'm drawing on his face with the jar, with the contents of the jar. So
Okay.
it's like an aloe kind of texture and smell. So that's kind of what I'm doing is I'm kind of like asking him as I'm like doing this, and I'm drawing I'm drawing the tattoos that I have on his face. So I'm drawing the double V and the lines across the cheek and the 3 lines down the chin.
Okay.
And I'm using one of the uses of Catagon's ointment. Let me see.
Okay.
So it ceases to be poisoned and is cured of any diseases, as well as gains that amount of hit points.
Very nice use of said item. I don't think that I've ever seen the item used as effectively as it is now.
Cool.
The speaker will not stop you, but I would like for you to roll me a persuasion check with advantage because of the current circumstances. I think 21's probably going to be... No, she got better. He says, unfortunately, I've been up here wasting away for quite a few weeks, and unfortunately, I haven't seen much happenings outside of my room. I've been trying to recover from this absolute pain. Feels so nice. And you see some of the color returning to his face and his features. And he says, I've left the estate in Kadroth's capable hands. I haven't really left in some time. So outside of this one here, and he'll point to the woman standing at the door, and she is probably 5'11", almost 6 foot, and she's a half orc, and she is carrying a long sword, and she says, or she doesn't say, she introduces herself as Yajav, and says, "Thank you for helping him. He has been quite a pain recently, as he is insufferable and whining about everything these days." And he responds with, "Just shut up. Didn't ask your opinion."
I want to insight and see if she's working with Speaker Kadroth to poison him.
The insight check doesn't denote any sort of nefarious or malicious intent. Just seems like she's watching over him.
Okay, well, I'll look back at the speaker and say, well, people tend to get cranky when they're being poisoned. Do you know of it? And I believe I spoke to some of your wolves outside, and they said that whoever visited your castle smelled off. So can you now answer my question of who was visiting your castle before you, or who was visiting the Caer before you became ill and poisoned?
And you're asking the speaker, or are you asking the woman?
I'm asking the speaker.
Okay. The speaker doesn't know. He says that he's been here for the last few weeks, doesn't know anything about what's been happening outside of these doors.
Okay. Oh, he's been sick for weeks.
Yes.
Okay. I look back at the one at the half orc. What about you? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Nope. Unfortunately, I've been sent here to watch after this whiner.
All right. Well, I look back at the speaker. Do you know who's poisoning you then?
No, but I'm really at that point where I'm just glad to no longer be sick. My stomach feels so much better. I'm no longer having to shit everything, and I thank you. You are a blessing. I appreciate it greatly. Um,
Well, I'm glad, but let me tell you before I go, I could have been up here not via chimney if Speaker Kadroth had not prevented me from doing so, for one thing. For two, you're going to become poisoned again if you simply stay and nothing changes. So I do have someone who I can trust to cook you meals if you would. Now, I was in the kitchen. I don't want to say I replace your cook. But like at least until you figure out who's poisoning you, you might want to consider that.
and he'll respond with, "Oh, wait, you're offering the services of your own cook?"
No, I said I know of someone who you could ask who would be trustworthy. Well, trustworthy to not poison you.
Interesting. Well, I still trust my cook. He seems to not have steered me wrong yet. Although I did.
Again, I'm not saying you need to replace your cook. I'm saying that someone is poisoning you, so you might want to change up what you're eating for now till you figure out who is poisoning you.
But those
Is that
fish
clear?
tacos, those are just amazing.
Okay. Well, all right. Ask
What was
someone
it,
else to
Deathworth?
make the Jesus. Ask someone else to make the fish tacos for you because I'm letting you know right now. Speaker Kadroth did not let me come up here.
Well,
So whoever is poisoning you will likely continue if you do not do something.
and I think the one you're speaking to, the original speaker, would say, I don't blame him because, maybe it was contagious, but this one over here is made of hardier stuff, so I don't. Anyway, I think we'll be fine. I appreciate it. I think we'll just.
All right, then I look forward to attending your funeral, and I'm going to walk out of the door, which I assume unlocks from the inside.
Damn. Yeah. Yashath wouldn't stop you. She would just watch you walk away. She looks at the speaker and goes, "Are you better now? I don't have to watch you anymore like a giant baby?" Well, I wasn't a baby. I don't know what you're talking about. I just had really bad stomach issues, and she just responds with, "No, dude, you were just shitting everything. Just, I'm done. I'm gonna walk away now. You're on your own. You're a big boy. You can take care of yourself." And she walks out and she walks away. The speaker just closes the door, and then things quiet down from up there. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm drawing pictures.
Lots of pictures. Okay.
Nope, just 2 pictures.
Okay. Good to know. What are you doing, Teef? Are you muted? No. Oh, you might not be back.
Sorry. Well, I technically was muted because my mic is muted on my end, but no. Well, seeing as how I don't know where the other two went, and I'm just kind of sitting here with these two, and he's drawing pictures. I don't know. I'm kind of sitting here trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay. Well, as you're in the main dining hall area, you, after a few minutes, you see Marawa actually walk out of the door on this side of the room on the upper floor, and she seems very, how should I put it, terse with a statement as the door is opened. about attending somebody's funeral. And she makes her way down the stairs. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find everyone, but honestly, I'm having a hard time. Oh, I think I need to be changed maps. That's why I'm having a hard time finding everyone. Yep, I was gonna go down, sit next to Nuktuk. Oh, I'm gonna go get Emerald from outside.
I mean, Emerald was watching through your resume and
Okay. Okay.
dismissed her and appeared inside.
Okay, then I'll go sit next to Pavel and Nuktuk as per my.
Okay. And as things are being prepared, you see the red tiefling girl walk out and start placing plates on the tables. And she says, dinner or the meal will be served in a few minutes. But please make
I lean
yourselves
over.
at home.
I lean over to Nuktuk and I kind of relay, and Pavel obviously, but I relay. So Nuktuk, I found the speaker. They were being poisoned, probably mercury or what is it? I'm trying to think of asinine. What's it called? Anyway, arsenic. Arsenic. There we go.
That was a nasty one.
Yeah. So, you know, I tried to tell him that he was being poisoned, but he insists that he is not. So that's interesting. I suppose I have cured him for now, but he also claims he will continue eating the food as prepared. So, you know, you're kind of like our cook, like the food connoisseur. So, if you wouldn't mind, like I'm gonna kind of hand this over to you and say, would you mind trying to figure out how this guy's being poisoned and who is doing so?
I mean, well, I helped prepare the food today. It was a lot of fun cooking. But you know, they may add a little stuff later, but we can try to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem like the cook, and especially since like he was like, yeah, sure, come help me. Like, yeah, I think it's something that being done to it afterwards. So, you know, help me keep an eye on that. Emerald already, I think, knows.
Nuktuk, with this conversation currently happening, can you please give me a medicine check?
Yes, I can. Come on, big money, no whammies. 23.
So your medicine check would be able to tell you that the type of poisoning that she's mentioning, mercury poisoning is quite common if your entire diet consists of only fish.
Start laughing to myself as I start putting the pieces together. I don't think it's anything too nefarious. I think he might be ill because he's been eating too much fish. And I mean that like with all seriousness. Sometimes certain fish keep how should I put this? Kind of metal in their body, and if you eat one fish, no problem. But if you eat fish all the time, that could be a problem. And that metal gets into your body and it makes you feel sick. Something I think called mercury. So that it might not be that nefarious. It might just be that he's just a real, well, you know, hoity-toity rich guy who loves fish.
And
I didn't know that about fish. You can really eat too much of it? That's something I think people would die of a little more around here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that, you know, a lot of people probably suffer from, but you know, if fish is scarce and people are eating it on a normal basis, it's not that bad. But, you know, if your whole diet consumes of it, chances are you might be running into some really stinky issues.
Well, he certainly has. Thanks, Nuktuk.
And as this conversation is happening out loud, you hear above you a door close as a very frail and thin, older gentleman has a robe that looks like it's like 3 sizes too big for him, wrapped around him in a very high-standing way. And he says, "Ooh, I'm looking forward to dinner tonight."
Nuktuk, please take the fish away. Like, can you sub the fish for anything? I do not want to heal this guy again. And I would prefer he didn't die. This other seeker seems strange.
Well, any idea? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Maybe we can give him something that tastes very fishy, but it's not.
Yes. Okay, I got you. Okay, go ahead.
Well, so here's the thing. What did you do to heal him?
Well, I have this special ointment that cures any disease. It hasn't come up. I've had it a while.
So basically, you're saying that you cured him.
Sure.
Okay.
For now.
So then you. I don't think we're going to stay here that long. So probably it's however long it took him to get really messed up to begin with. It will take him that long again.
Yeah. All right.
If you removed it from his system, it's going to take a while. And if he's been losing whatever, like you said, weight and getting skinny, he's going to fatten up again. Then it's a vicious cycle.
All right. Well, I guess I tried.
Yeah, you did great. We
Shields.
can have a conversation. We can have a conversation with him later. But for right now, let's enjoy some fish.
All right. You're sure it's not poisoned?
I mean, I helped prepare it, and that Karoo guy looks on the up and up.
Okay.
So,
I mean, the guy loves fish.
all
All
this
right.
is happening. Maxwell is currently at the table, and he is trying to sketch and draw an image of the dragon that was accosting you not but a couple of hours before. At this point, it's been probably 2 hours or so since you guys had that encounter. Give me a performance check, Maxwell, to see see how well it comes out. If there needs to be any sort of alterations or additions.
Performance. Shit, it's not letting me roll. Why is it not letting me roll? Oh, I'm on the wrong. Hang on, I gotta go to a different character sheet. Okay, skills, performance. It's a shitty picture. I'd start over.
And it's certainly the reason why you start over. All of a sudden, you notice that the small piece of charcoal that you grabbed out of the fireplace that's here starts to splinter and just fall to dust and just ruins the original image.
Yep.
And you start over with another sheet of parchment. As you're doing so, the table is being set. Karu is walking from the kitchen and bringing out platters of a couple of things, and he's probably asking Nuktuk to help him with it. Nuktuk, if you want to describe what's being brought out.
Oh yeah, so for today's dish, we have a Baja-style knucklehead trout with a chipotle aioli with a little bit of lime sauce to just add a little bit of zing, and coleslaw. Don't forget to use the limes.
It sounds delicious.
And Karu is just ecstatic to see other people than just the speaker and those of the Caer eating his food, and looks to Nuktuk and nods and says, "Thank you. I'm very much intrigued to see how this turns out for your taste buds." And the dish itself is quite tasty. Nothing ill comes of it. You guys are able to have this meal without any sort of pressing outside party or influence. For shits and giggles, Marawa, can you roll me a d6?
Oh no.
Maxwell, at this moment you're eating at the table, and it's interesting. You're eating the food, and while this is happening, can you give me a wisdom saving throw, please?
Oh, this is good.
18.
18. Okay.
Yep.
And that's actually good enough. You feel this odd sensation as it feels like you have somebody watching you, otherworldly. It's very odd and concerning. And then it dissipates, like it wasn't able to take effect or take hold.
Okay.
The rest of the meal goes without issue or concern, and you don't see the younger tiefling until after dinner is completed. As she comes back out and she clears the table as she did before, and she throws it into a bucket for the goats again. And you get a sense that the goats themselves are there for as a source of milk, and not actually to be eaten themselves. But the speaker finishes his food with a ravenous intent originally, and after about 2 or 3 servings themselves, you get the sense that this man used to be a lot bigger, especially with the material that he's wearing, and his appetite. He's also turning a dark red for a moment, and then just starts to breathe again, and he goes, I'm so glad that we had this wonderful meal. Caro, you always outdo yourself, and this time you've done it yet again. And Caro goes, no, it wasn't just me, it was all my new friend Nuktuk. He seems like a great chef. I'm glad that we've come to know each other in our kitchen of camaraderie. But
Like we say in the kitchen, teamwork makes the dream work.
You're right about that one, Nuktuk. Isn't it just great? And you notice that Kedroth is eating as well, but he's not having any conversations with anybody. He's just sitting there eating, having his own thoughts to himself. And there are no other guards except for Yajath that attends as well. It seems that it was a very clandestine dinner that nobody else would be attending. Caro did also eat with you, but it was under the request of the speaker themselves, of the old speaker, I should say. And it seems that
A portion of Mirawa's fish tacos did go out to the wolves. She did sneak them out.
Okay.
Some fish. At some point.
You kind of beat me to what I was gonna do. Because I was actually going to take my entire dish and give it to them, along with some jerky.
Oh.
Because I don't.
Well, do you want to go
sustenance.
with me? Like, Teef, do you want this to be like a character thing we could do? Like we both get up, we both get up to like sneakily meander away, and then we realize we're going to the same place.
Like, oh, hey, didn't see you there.
Oh, what are you doing, Teef?
Well, seeing as how I can understand what it's like to be an aid to other people, not being given the ability to make your own choices, I feel like I understand these creatures a little bit in the sense of I want to try and make sure that they're taken care of.
Is that how you felt with the... Like, we're outside with the wolves feeding them, so we're not, like, in the main hall, but, like, she looks over you a little confused and say, is that how you felt with the mages? That you were just a tool, maybe?
The best way I can explain it, think of yourself as a child. And with people around you making the decisions for you, you not having the ability to be your own being, I can understand that. In that same sense, as I grew up with mages, I was very much accustomed to their style of life. In that sense, I'm also very much reserved in that I'm a lot more passive in dealing with people than some of the other people I've interacted with. So I can understand when somebody being a servant or aid to what the initial person is trying to do, sometimes there is a bit neglect. Not saying that I was neglected per se, but that I feel like there's a point at which when you're a caged animal versus being on the outside, being able to make your own choices, I can understand.
I think Mira watches them eat what they're feeding them for a bit and says, what about now? You're free. They're all gone. That was a long time ago. What are you doing now that you have the choice?
Well, the only choice that I have right now, and the only goal that I have, is to protect the weave. So to me, anything that stands in my way must fall.
What's the
what?
What's the weave? Mira was not a magic user. She didn't know what you were talking about.
I would try and equate it to, like, if you could think of the life essence of nature, it is almost the exact same comparison to the life essence of magic.
Interesting. I get my magic from nature, so this seems strange to not. But I understand what you mean. Like, protect nature, protect the weave. Got it. The source of your magic.
When you put it that way, we are very similar.
Imagine that. Mira just looks like she wasn't expecting the conversation to go that way, but yeah. She's gonna pet one of the wolves.
But I will pull out a pound of jerky from the bag of holding that I have, and also provide that for the wolf.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna cast Speak with Animals and say, I understand what it's like. I hope this helps, and hopefully you will have a hunt soon.
They are... Is it one creature it affects, or you are able to speak with all the creatures within a certain radius?
Oh, I think it's just one.
Is it?
I don't know. I'm looking.
Speak with animals.
Yep, with beasts.
The knowledge and awareness of many beasts is limited by their intelligence.
Yep.
But at a minimum, beast can give you information. Okay, so technically, it's I would imagine it's like the person that I'm focusing on, but it lasts for 10 minutes. I would imagine if I was talking to multiple of them, I would be talking to the one that Mero would talk to before. And
Well, so looking at it, it looks like you're casting it on yourself. So you're giving yourself the same ability I essentially have.
Correct.
Like,
Yeah.
so you're not. So the beast can understand you because you're giving off the voice of them. Is the way I'm reading this spell. Like,
Yeah.
and so anything in the because it has plural all over the place.
I would agree. I think it gives you the ability to convey ideas in a like sense that they'd be able to understand it. The wolves would respond with a sign of appreciation, and they will ravenously attack and eat the food that's being provided and offered. The response to the hope for a hunt soon gets you a response from all of the wolves as they all start to howl at the same time. And hunt,
Do I?
hunt.
Okay. I look back at Teef and I say they're saying hunt. They're very excited by what you said because I don't think he can understand them.
No, he can.
yeah, I can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, speak with animals is both comprehend and verbally communicate with beasts.
Yeah.
Yes,
You'd be able to do.
they're excited.
Yes.
And I
They're-
can imagine I would be anticipating something like that if I were them too.
And what I would equate this to is the scene from Zootopia while they're all outside the tower or the where they first encounter all of the wolves. You're gonna start a howl, man. Don't start a howl. So the night goes very easily. No other concerns. And eventually, Maxwell, your rendition or art is completed well enough that your idea comes to a good stopping point. Only that you're able to provide shade versus color with the charcoal at hand. So it is somewhat hard to give more depth to it in terms of its natural association or likeness to the creature that you saw. But you're easily able to provide that or convey that through this medium of charcoal on parchment. The rest of you notice that Kadroth finishes eating and leaves his plate there, and he gets up to walk away, and he goes back upstairs to the west wing on the upper floor, and opens the door, closes the door, and you hear an activation of a lock or a locking mechanism, and you see Thoob run through the doorway of the front door and going, "Ooh, food! Oh, I missed it. Damn." And Caro responds, No, you didn't miss anything. There's plenty more where that came from." And he just goes back into the kitchen and pulls out more and starts putting it on the table. "It's okay, you can continue to eat. Just because you missed it doesn't mean you miss it entirely." And providing that, the small tiefling woman is going around cleaning up the plate from Kadroth and doing the same thing as she did before. And the speaker turns to all of you and says, I'm so glad that you all made your way here. Actually, speaking of which, who are all of you? I've met Moira? Marawa, I think her name was, right?
I mean, am I in the room or is this everyone else?
Yeah,
Basically, you guys would
walking back
return
in?
after a while. And at that point, everybody would just about be done anyway. So it's nearing the end of when everybody is done with eating their meal. So I met Marilla, I believe her name is. I have not met or made acquaintance with the rest of you. Introduce yourselves.
Hello. I'm going to finish chewing my taco and say, my name is James Maxwell. I live over in Bridgeshander usually when I'm not trolling around town with these guys.
Wait a minute. Your name is James?
Yeah.
Why do we call you Maxwell?
It's also my name.
I love the fact that we're having an introduction to somebody we don't know. Somebody mentions their name and immediately goes, "Wait a minute, you're not Maxwell?"
That's my family name.
Right, but you introduce yourself to us as Maxwell.
Yeah, I go by that name, but it's not my family name. It's my family name. If you guys ever come down to Baldur's Gate and you meet some of my family, then you can't call me Maxwell. Then you have to call me James.
I see.
Do you have an objection to us calling you James now?
6 of one, half dozen of the other.
James it is then. My name is Emerald. Nice to meet you, speaker.
Likewise. Emerald? Interesting name.
Yeah, I'm not from these parts.
Where do you hail from?
That is a much longer story than I think we have time for tonight.
Oh, I don't know. I seem to remember you being in my house. I think we can stay up as long as we want. Slumber party kind of thing.
Is there a name for where you're from?
Hold, please, while I bring up my notes. Those notes.
While he's looking that up, who is it we're talking to? The speaker that just got healed?
Yeah.
Okay. And what was his name?
Cranach.
One more time.
I'm going to Carew for a second.
His name is Cranach Seaver.
Okay. For some reason, I was getting the impression that we were talking to his aide, his assistant, or servant, or whatever the hell she was. Anyway, I will just introduce myself as my name is Teef.
Nice to meet you, Teef. I have seen a dragonborn in this area, but he's a different shade. He is a fellow speaker. Well, was a fellow speaker. I don't know how this would work. He lives in the town north of us, Caer-Dineval. He goes by the name.
What about Trovis?
Yes. My interesting colleague Trovis. Yes, he is north of us. Very
That guy can drink.
Yes, you are certainly correct, my friend. And
There's always a party with Trovis.
you're not wrong. And chef, your name is?
Oh, I'm Nuktuk.
Greetings, Nuktuk. Thank you for dinner, along with Karu, obviously. Thank you for your insight and your expertise in said field. Dinner was lovely. I don't see many Goliaths, but your people are present enough that I know of you.
Yeah, they're not really my people, but I understand what you're saying. We're not very common. I'm even less common.
Yes. You see his face kind of get a little contorted and seems to think about that and mull that one over a little bit longer, and then just like snaps out of it and goes, "So I have a Nuktuk, I have a James Maxwell, I have a Teef. That is certainly an interesting name. And I also have a Marawa and an Immoral. I think I'm missing the
One of the things I was going to mention when you guys mentioned the Dragonborn and the person that's supposed to be in the other town, I would like to turn and ask kind of the Nuktuk, but also to the speaker, what color Dragonborn is he?
Oh, he is a brilliant, reflective silver.
It's pretty cool.
Although his demeanor and his the way he holds himself is not exactly a good reflection, I should say. He's very gruff, and it seems that he spent too much time adventuring and addled his brain with the amount of alcohol.
Yeah, it's pretty mushy.
That's putting it quite plainly. But
So, just so I'm not misunderstanding you, Cranach is a silver dragonborn?
no, Cranach is not a silver dragonborn. Cranach is a human
Okay.
in his mid to late 40s. Currently very frail, very thin, very gaunt, and very pale. But you notice that with the clothing that he wears, they seem much larger than he is. Like he's lost a lot of weight in the last few months.
So who is the silver dragonborn then?
The Silver Dragonborn is another speaker from another town north of you.
Okay. That's in Caer-Dineval.
Correct. But I appreciate you stopping in and aiding me in my unfortunate circumstance. You have free reign of the local quarters here with the servants that are here. If you have any questions or concerns, I would request that you offer and provide them to Cranach, or sorry, not Cranach, Kadroth, the other one, as currently he's taking over affairs, and I would request some time to get back into the swing of my previous and soon-to-be original job.
Not if you don't stop eating too much fish, Marijuana says, mostly under her breath.
Okay. Let's do this.
Thank you for your hospitality, Speaker Cranach.
Nope, doesn't even notice. You're quite welcome. Now, tell me, I have heard tale of a group. Also, I seem to be missing an introduction from one, the quiet fellow in the back with the very nice and white armor. Your name? And Pavel will respond with, "I am Pavel. I'm just here."
He brings the gavel.
They keep saying that. I mean, it's not wrong, but at the same time, it's not my job to be the judge. I only serve the judge.
Judgy.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I put my hand to my face and I go, but he can be a little judgy. And then I go back to eating my fish and drinking a little wine.
Oh, okay. Pavel doesn't really know how to respond to that. Well, me. I don't know how Pavel would respond to that, I should say. But he says, we appreciate dinner. Thank you, Nuktuk. And Karu, you said your name was? Yeah, my name is Karu. Great, isn't it? Nice name. Almost as nice as dinner was. Anyway, I'm going to go clean up and get ready for bed. Did anybody want anything else from the kitchen? No?
Nope.
Good. Because it's closing down for the night, guys. And if I catch any of you in my kitchen, clean up after yourself. As I usually make a mess myself, and I don't want anybody to blame me for your mess. And he starts making his
Will
way to
do.
the kitchen. Speaker Cranach, or the old Speaker Cranach, would say, I heard tale of a couple of adventurers that had made mince material. They crushed a crystal dragon in a town a little further south about a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago. Have you guys heard
Yes.
about that?
In fact, Pavel was the one who finished the job. Tell him, Pavel.
Yes.
Sorry.
Sadly,
Yeah, that was us.
Sadly, it didn't go as planned, but it still worked out in the end.
Didn't Emerald get the last hit?
Actually, yeah.
Not that I would know. I wasn't there.
Well, Maxwell wouldn't know. He would know
Bob
of
does.
the fight, but Bob does. But Pavel would respond.
Wherever he is.
Pavel would respond that the battle went as it did. It still worked out in the end. He's not too concerned. But yes, we were there, actually. Why do you ask? And the speaker would ask, so what happened? Why did this thing all of a sudden show up and start destroying things? Like, was it after somebody? Was it trying to eat you guys? What was going on?
It was trying to destroy all of 10 towns.
Crazy Duragar.
Yeah, Duragar were trying to basically destroy all of 10 town.
Wait. Go back. It was trying to destroy 10
The
towns?
Duragar were trying to destroy all of 10 towns.
Thank you for that. I appreciate the slow and methodical way of discussing the event.
Well, you've been sick, so, just trying to help.
But you said it was trying to destroy 10 towns. Well, it was under the employ of the Duragar?
Yep.
Concerning.
I mean, we took care of it with ease.
Did you know?
I heard that they were specifically targeting people who eat too much fish. I don't know if that was true or not.
And you see him kind of all of a sudden stop in his tracks and go, really?
They're basically the Duragar are trying to protect the endangered species of knucklehead trout.
But they're not endangered. Have you seen how many fish are out there?
I'm just pulling your leg.
But my leg is attached.
Oh man, get this guy some more fish.
That'll take care of that attached leg
Look
problem.
over at Duck Duck and try not like Mirawa's hiding a smile. Is that?
The speaker Cranach will also inquire as to does anybody know what happened to the other towns? I just know of this giant crystal dragon that tried to kill people and destroy towns, but
Dugan's hold was leveled, but it was evacuated too, so they're rebuilding it. I forget the name of the other town. There were 2 towns that were destroyed.
oh.
But like he said, we got word to them beforehand, so most people are still there if the buildings are not.
Well, that's
They're
great news. The
rebuilding,
downside
yeah.
is the other place, I don't know. Well, and he starts listing off all of the names of the towns. And after naming all of them off, you know that the 2 towns that were destroyed were Goodmead and Dugan's Hole.
Oh no.
And
Oh no, the mead and the hole were wrecked.
And you see his face kind of drop and go, oh no, that's not a good thing. Well, here's to hoping that more of the mead survived versus the buildings, because we know that the people were fine. How did you guys, how did they get out before the dragon? Pavel would pipe up that he sent a message, and he would go, oh, you have a way of sending messages? Like instantly? Like quickly? Pavel would respond with, well, yeah, it's called magic. Speaker would go, oh, yeah. Okay, I understand now. Yeah. Gotcha.
People uses that holier than thou magic.
Interesting. And what?
Quite effective.
You're right. It is quite effective. I've seen many priests do effective work over time. But I think I've spent enough time talking. I'm going to retire for the evening.
Can I ask you for some information on? You had I'm told, an interior decorator named Avarice, the white tiefling that used to work here. I just had some questions for her. I'm not sure if you know where she went.
No. I had only seen her from my window. Outside of that, I have no idea who this person is. I have spent the last 2.5 months in my room.
So she wasn't on your usual staff. She was just a visitor.
It seems that she was only a visitor, correct?
Okay.
Is it just us right now?
Yes, Kadroth is in his chambers. Thub is also there. He seems like he is gluttonously enjoying what's left over of the meal.
Got it. I'm just gonna ask. Are you in danger?
What do you mean?
Secretly keeping the fact that your life may be in danger? We're just making sure you're okay.
I'm okay now. I am no longer sequestered to a chamber pot.
Good. I just wanted to make sure, you weren't somehow a prisoner and being held against your nefarious means, and, just making sure you're good.
Yeah, I think I'm good. How are you?
All right. Oh, I'm full, but I am really worried about the ale.
As am I. Don't drink too much of that wine, by the way, because we only have a few casks left. But I will bid you all good night.
Yeah, Pavel's gonna do some create food and water, and I think instead of water, it'll be wine, food, like real food, not fish.
So when casting create food and water, it is bland. Think of Play-Doh like substance.
Yeah.
Only gives you sustenance and not any.
It's manna from heaven.
Correct.
It's just to sustain you.
Yes, it is not anything that has flavor or.
It's delicious if you're starving.
Yes.
He's not Jesus. He can't turn water to wine.
But the speaker will bid you all good night. For in the morning, there is to be some groundbreaking news or ice-breaking news. He didn't really track that far, but hopefully there is good news to come on the morrow. Good night. Hope to see you all in the morning, bright and early.
All right.
By the way, early is probably about 11 o'clock. But yeah, good night. And he starts walking his way all the way up to his room. and closes the door promptly.
Good night, Wesley. Sleep well. Almost like to kill you in the morning.
Good. Maxwell, can you roll me a d4, please?
Sure. I got a 1.
Good. Marawa, can you please give me a wisdom saving throw? As during the night, things are winding down. You guys are all preparing for bed, for the long rest, basically.
26. Can I do an insight into what I think it might be that I am wisdom checking for?
It's a wisdom saving throw, and you get the sense that there is something that is watching you, but it doesn't take hold. It disperses shortly after it manifests.
But do I get the sense it's the dragon that we just fled?
You have no way of really telling. I mean, you can certainly make that assumption, but unfortunately, there's no way of confirming that.
So I wanted to try something if we're now in rest mode.
Okay.
I'm not sure how the rest of the party feels about requesting support and assistance from some old friends at Candlekeep with the offer of paying them with some purified chardolin for research purposes. Nothing tainted, only purified chardolin. How do you guys feel about that?
What will we be looking to exchange it for?
I was going to ask for possible research into really, if you guys had suggestions, I wanted to ask for possible information on Kazilpazar, or maybe something similar if we gave them a description and had them look into any mentions of either this being or other shadow fire dragons like him.
Maxwell, do you remember the other day when I was showing you all my book and there was descriptions of dragons? Do you think, you seem like the scholarly sort, do you think you could go over this book with me again and we could see if we could maybe match what we saw to a description of these descriptions in these books, and so we might be able to narrow down what kind of dragon he is?
I would very much like to do that, yes, and I don't remember the book you're talking about.
I'll pull out my book again. It's just like the book that you've seen me pull out to like cast spells and stuff. The back it has just like a bunch of writing in it. And like flipping through it again, looking at it, has most of it is descriptions on dragons. But it's not written in the same hand. It's from a couple of different handwritings. Each entry on each dragon is written in a different hand. And I will actually post that in one momento.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah.
I was also going to ask if they would possibly be able to give us assistance in purifying the chardolin, since it's just sitting there, and then in providing some minor magic items.
Who is this you're trying to get a hold of? Is this the person you're going to use my helmet for?
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah. So as we're going through the book, I will hand you the helmet, so that as we're going through this book and reading and doing research, you can be attuning to it.
Okay.
So this is like dinner. That's like the end of the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is
Winding down.
Yeah, winding down for long rest.
Okay. I want to do something before long rest, but it's a little involved.
Same.
While he's attuning to the helm, I was curious if I might be able to pull out the sword and try and go into a trance
Okay.
to at least have a understanding with the sword of the most previous wielder of it.
Okay. And as you do so, there is a moment where your consciousness reaches out to what you know as the consciousness of this sword. The sentience present here seems somewhat akin to your own, but there is a slight difference, and you can tell. Your inquiry, your request of this sword, this sentience, responds with a warm feeling of trust, a warm feeling of love, and there is a tingling sensation of adventure. But outside of that, it doesn't provide you any sort of words or story or memories. It just provides those feelings currently.
Okay. Well, just as a point of clarification, because one of the things that I noticed that the sword has the ability to do, and that was kind of what I was getting at was its sentience. The second paragraph talks about that it can give you tingling sensations and emotions to the wielder, but it also can communicate more explicitly through visions or dreams when the wielder is in either a trance or asleep.
Oh, I guess I overlooked that part. Okay.
If that's something that you need to prepare for something later, that's fine. I was just trying to see if there was a way that I can get an idea of who it was or how long ago it was or what kind of things they did with the sword.
Yeah, I think I'll need to prepare for that in the future.
Okay. So I just get the warm, tingly sensation, and maybe I'll try it another time.
Yep.
And just whip out the book that I was reading before and continue reading.
Okay. Also, Emerald, as you're looking through your tome, you notice that there is a second, another. Are you putting this in a?
I mean, I could post it. I just sent it to Justin, but I could post it into the actual chat too. I just didn't know if you wanted it all there and handouts and info.
You can. I'm not stopping
Okay.
because this is information that's available to you. You do know that you sent that to me instead, right?
Yeah, I was trying to get it all in one thing, so I could just send it all in one block, and then instead of hitting Shift Enter to space down, I hit Enter.
Gotcha. The other thing is that as you're looking through this tome and showing it to Maxwell, there is another small excerpt just below the last entry, and it is written in a very, very delicate and grandiose flow of calligraphy, and it talks about echoes or multiple copies or hold on, my Amazon thing is responding to my statement. Stop.
Shut up, Alexa.
This reference to these multiple sentience, but being of the same sentience, coming into one being or one entity, creating an amalgamation or something akin to a god or a deity. And it's a very odd excerpt. I'll have to write out more to that, and I'll post that in handouts and info as well if you want, or I'll send it to you via message, Jeremy.
Yeah, Yeah, go ahead and send that to me via message, por favor.
Okay. But the at the bottom of it, that below that excerpt, you see the sigil or the an emblem of a. Let's do this. No, that's not what I want. I want this one. Nope, not that one either. This is the one that I want. Don't worry about it. You see this symbol below that excerpt. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Stop that. But with no name or any sort of reference as to what this is referring to. And all of the depictions and the descriptions of the dragons are still there. And you can do as you wish.
Okay. Can I consider myself tuned yet?
Yes. Enough time has passed between arriving here and just hanging about for a little bit. You're able to attune to it easily and cast the sending spell if you like.
All right. I'm going to send to Teles Avost.
Okay.
Hello. This is James Maxwell. I have valued research information and request assistance. Please say when you can scry me for more information.
Okay. Your message goes through. Doesn't seem like there's any feedback or anything. About 30 seconds or so go by, and he responds with, that may be taking place in the next 10 day. I will send another spell with communication to arrange. Be advised of other movements present in the north. And that's the end of the message. Did anybody else want to do anything?
I was going to talk to Nuktuk and Emerald because as I am only familiar with one individual that I am currently displaying, I would like to learn a little bit of this other Dragonborn to figure out if this is an individual of which Emerald is worried about, like somebody that doesn't have very good standing, somebody that's not so good.
Gotcha. And you're looking for character reference to Trovis himself, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I think Nuktuk would be able to give enough description with that, right, Lloyd?
Yeah. So, you just ask away and I'll answer your questions. Or start the conversation and we can have it.
So, this Dragonborn that you spoke about, who seems to enjoy alcohol, is he an individual of good or somebody that is a little bit more darker aligned?
You have a problem with alcohol?
Not per se, but if Emerald has reservations to any Dragonborn, is this potentially somebody that could be evil?
Oh, Trovis? No. Trovis is The worst problem the Trovis has is that he loves brandy.
Do I have any additional insight on this speaker?
You can roll a history check.
Okay. This isn't something I would do.
Oh no, they're both gone.
Trovis is fine. Like, he cares about his town that he takes care of, and then he just drinks a lot. I mean, a lot. Like, whoa.
Sorry, Jessica, you cut out halfway through. It seemed like you had dropped. You know him well enough of what you've heard.
I just kind of get the sense that I know, I might not know everything about the towns, but the speakers are the things I know.
I would think it would be the opposite. You spend your time with being the, I wouldn't say warden, but the one that holds between both civilization and nature itself.
Yeah, sure. So the thing is that her connection to the towns is through her father, who is the speaker. So I assume all the speakers know each other. So that's why I ask about the speakers all the time, and I know them.
Okay. Well, you would know of him at the very least. He does have a very, very bad need or addiction. He is an alcoholic, and a major alcoholic at that.
I just want to know if there was anything I could add to what Nuktuk is saying. If not, then that's totally fine.
So no, one could say that he has the need for mead.
Yes.
If that doesn't get inspiration, I don't know what. Like, I feel like I should give up my inspiration for that amazing bardic moment there, even though you're not the bard. I'm the eloquence bard. That was just wow.
But I think that Nuktuk has spent enough time in that particular area with Trovis himself, getting used to him.
Okay, good. It was just a yes or no. Okay, that's fine.
Okay. But what you do know is that many people don't regard Trovis as highly as other speakers, because Trovis was not originally one of a higher echelon or a higher standing before he became a speaker. He was an adventurer, much like the rest of you, and fell into being a speaker because that was the thing at the moment in time. That hasn't changed since then. That was about 7 or 8 years before. As at that time he was trying to help with fighting off barbarians that were trying to kill off villagers and townsfolk. And he had arranged for a small group to fight them away, or fight them back, and protect those of that town. He did so well that he had gathered a following, or enough clout, I guess, to be the speaker of Caer-Dineval.
I guess the intention of partly learning of the other Dragonborn and knowing that Emerald has reservations to anything dragon related, I kind of get the sense that Dragonborn are not the best influence. And so I turn to Nuktuk and Emerald and say, I understand that my appearance may set some people off, or at least give them the wrong impression. Do you think it would be more beneficial if I was to do a different form, and I immediately transition to the embodiment of Daith?
Oh, wow. As you see his form kind of, in a way, it's more a cloud or a tornado whirling around, and as it completes, you see a human of an olive complexion. He's not pale, he's not extremely dark, but he's dark enough. Dark hair, emerald green eyes, and a chiseled facial feature, with a small bit of stubble, and he holds himself with a very long and grandiose purple robe that hangs way past his legs or his ankles, and just gathers on the floor. And he stands there, and it's interesting to Teef that it takes him back to a time where it's a pleasant memory of him, and it brings you peace that you're emulating him in a current circumstance.
I look at it and I go, well, it'll probably get a lot less questions.
That is very true.
I don't know much about this world, but this is human, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
But humans, I feel, in any world, are less oddly looked at than most other races.
Yep, they're just the most racist.
But is he wrong? No.
So, seeing as how the people of wherever we're at right now already know me as the Dragonborn, I switch back to the Dragonborn form and just say that beyond these castle walls, I will probably take on that form, as that is the only form that I think will be not a copy of somebody currently living. So I won't have too many people that would recognize that person.
Good. That works. Is there anything else that anybody wants to talk about before we finish the long rest? And I think we should call it shortly thereafter.
Not for me.
I mean, I have some stuff to do, but if someone has a smaller thing, sure. Okay. Well, Emerald.
Yes.
Emerald, I was wondering if I could borrow Tresemme.
He narrows his eyes. Why?
Insight check. Just kidding.
I know, Jesus. Well, I'm headed outside on the ice, so I just wanted some easy connection to you guys in case I get in trouble.
How long do you plan to be gone?
A while. I don't know.
More than 10 minutes?
Yeah. Definitely. Maybe a couple hours.
Well, how far do you plan on going? Because I can only speak to Tresemme for up to 100 feet away.
Well, I just figured that if she comes flying back to you, that you guys could have a chat if something I don't anticipate anything will go wrong. But, be nice. You don't have to.
No, I didn't think about that. That is fair. I'll snap my fingers and Tresemme will appear at your feet.
Oh, hi, Tresemme, and I'll talk to her for a little bit, and then I'll look over at Pavel and I say, Pavel, will you come with me too? Just watch my back.
Well, now, wait a second. Why do you need someone to come running back with your imminent death if you're going to bring Pavel along?
Well, see, Tresemme, just in case
Pavel, and she
we.
wants a witness.
Tresemme is just in case, we fall through the ice or something like that. Pavel is more just to watch my back while I'm focused.
I think Pavel would respond with, certainly. I don't see a problem with that. I'm just concerned that I might fall through the ice much easier than you would.
Fair enough. I'll just take Tresemme, and I'll head outside the castle.
How far onto the ice do you intend to go, Marilla?
Just as much as what seems safe.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll walk down the hill of the castle,
Okay. Well,
out onto the ice.
Pavel would go with you.
Okay. Alright. So first, I'm gonna ritually, if I ritually cast it, I don't spend the spell slot. So I'll ritually cast
But
Commune with Nature.
you're
So I'll
also
set all that up.
You're also at the point where you're going to take a long rest anyway, so
I know.
That's up to you if you want to.
I know.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna do that. So I set out my totem, and it kind of changes shape, so it looks like a fish. And I'm going to briefly become one with nature and gain knowledge of the surrounding territory in the outdoors for 3 miles of me. What I want to ask is, what I want to know is, I want to know about this lake that I'm sitting on, and I want to know how thick the ice is, so I have a sense of what I need to do to break it.
Okay.
The second thing I want to know is influence from other planes of existence. So I want to know about that shadow dragon, if it's coming or within 3 miles of us or whatever. I will hang on to my last one till I know the other two.
Okay. So the first inquiry was how thick the ice was.
Like, am I thinking, do I need, how many polar bears do I need to break this ice?
You're probably gonna need a couple.
Okay.
The thinnest layer of ice is about 3.5 feet thick.
I love that Mira would use polar bear slave labor instead of trying to figure out a spell.
I don't know. What are you talking about? That is my spell.
It is her spell. It's summoning them.
No, I know, but control water, tsunami.
Oh yeah,
something
that
like
sounds
that.
like a good idea. Let's just tsunami everything and crash all the fishing boats. That sounds like a great idea. This is why you're not the druid, Emerald.
So you get the sense that you might need a couple of polar bears. The second question was, within a 3-mile radius of you, what kind of effect is present from
Powerful.
From other planes of existence, right?
Mm-hmm. Because this dragon comes from another plane of existence, right, Emerald? Okay. Just checking. Not like a fae or a fiend or an elemental.
Yeah, still plane of existence.
Well, that's fair. That is fair. It is. Well, yeah, okay.
You sense no effect other than the greater sense of winter just affecting the land around.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like the presence has not reached further than where you were previously.
Okay. How about... How about... My last question is the building for the watchtower. The broken one.
Okay. What's the question?
So I want to know, gain knowledge of the building, the watchtower.
It was once the guard post and the outlook for the Caer, in order to protect the castle itself, as it had a better vantage point for things further south along the shore, but had since fallen in previous encounters with local inhabitants.
Okay. All right. Let's go with... Okay. So this spell, conjure animals. It says at higher levels, you get more creatures, right? But it says twice as many. Oh, at 5th level. Okay. I read that as 6th for some reason. Maybe I was looking at the other one. Okay. All right. So let's do that as my 5th level. Let's get 2 polar bears out.
Let's do this. All right, so you're doing 2 polar bears.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So that's my 5th level. So I'm going to ask them to have a blast breaking some ice, because it will be fun, not slave labor.
Okay. So do me a favor. For this, it's gonna be a couple of athletics checks from the bears to try and break through the ice. As you're only using 2, we'll see how it goes.
Well, I can only concentrate on one at a time, like one spell at a time. So,
right.
But I just kind of figured like this would be like a long thing. Like they could be out here for an hour. So I just kind of figured it would be like narratively, they would like go out to the thinnest part and just start breaking it up. And then once the hour's up, see how much they get through, and then cast again if necessary.
Okay.
So you want strength check?
Yeah, give me a total of 4 athletics or strength checks if they don't have proficiency with athletics. Okay.
Ooh, nat 20.
Is this all happening post long rest?
No.
Before the long rest.
No, I want to get those spell slots back. So I'm sitting on the dock, watching the frolicking, working polar bears.
So the 2 polar bears, after a while, they look like they're having a little bit of fun trying to break ice. Only one of the checks would be able to break through a small portion of the ice, and that was enough to start it. After about a half an hour or so of them beating upon this thick sheet of ice, one of the polar bears gets through, and the other is starting to make bigger cleaves through the ice due to that single deft stroke. So in the next half hour, you can give me another 4 athletics checks or strength checks, but with advantage.
Jesus, I have a +5. This is ridiculous. Another nat 20. Okay.
Would a fireball help?
And those are with the. Oh, okay. So that one would fail. That one would pass. That one would pass. And another one with advantage, and then we should figure out things from there.
I guess I'll help with some produce flames.
Okay.
Would a fireball help at all?
Sure. If you hear the crunching and roaring of polar bears and come out to help out, just don't hit my polar bears.
Yeah, just throw a fireball out to the middle of the ice where there's no polar bears.
After about an hour or so, the amount of ice has been broken up. It seems that it's enough for most of the boats to make their way out to further into the lock. Did a great job. I still need a pair of athletics checks. You're missing one set.
Okay. Sure.
That's enough. Yep, that'll get it through. You're able to get through the rest of it. The following or the dock itself is mostly clear of ice. It would not inhibit or stop any sort of exit to further into the ice, the lock. It would make things a lot easier for them to go fishing again.
Okay, cool. Just hanging out with Tresemme on the dock until they're done, and then I pet them and they disappear, and I head back to the castle.
Okay.
Give some good bear scratches.
And as you're sitting there with Pavel, he will. Does he actually? No. Where did he cast it? Oh. I don't know what he did. Anyway, Pavel would. He would sit there and he would spend some time with you watching the bears, and he would cast a sending spell to try and contact somebody, and that I'll talk to John about in specific words and what happens. The night goes on, and you look up in the sky and you see the northern lights as you would see normally here, and you also notice along the lights themselves, you see a couple of figures or outlines in the light. Give me a perception check with advantage, please. Good. At this distance, you notice that there are a couple of outlines of large beasts or creatures, and upon closer inspection, you notice that these creatures are pretty massive in reference to the distance from you to it. And you get the sense that these are large creatures. These are huge creatures, maybe even bigger, but they are of a white exterior, a white scaled hide flying across the sky. And they are heading from east to west. And you see about 4 of them.
That's important.
Yeah. Are these okay? Are these the dragons that are under the thumb of the shadow dragon, or do I get the sense these are other dragons?
The ones that you saw previous there were only 2 of them that you saw. You don't know how many there were. Unfortunately, there's no sort of banner or affiliation that would be able to be distinguished at this time.
Are they riderless? Are they have anything on them, like equipment?
Nothing that you can tell from that distance. From
Okay.
that perspective.
Right.
At this point, also, as the docks are being taken care of, a sending spell comes to Maxwell and says, I have arranged for the scrying to commence. Be advised, I cannot communicate outside of it. Only one way. I don't know how else to put it, but only able to understand you, cannot provide input.
Okay, so this is while we're resting?
This is before the long rest.
Before the long rest, okay. All right, so then I'm going to, let's see here. I'm going to just, I guess, tell everybody that I got the message from Talazahost. And I'm going to introduce the party to the scrying and say these are the these fine folks have been hard at work saving the saving Toontown from the Arcane Brotherhood and other dangers. And I must just say that I can't use the sending spell myself. I have to borrow the talents of others. So then I'm going to ask Telez if you could contact Pavel, and I'll point at Pavel via sending spell, and you guys can maybe add each other to your instant messenger contact list. Then that might make it easier to reach out in the future, because Pavel does have the sending spell, as he's a cleric and I'm a sorcerer. So I wanted to ask, the main reason that I'm reaching out and requesting assistance is that we were recently had narrowly escaped death, coming face to face with an ancient being ensconced in flame-like shadows. It slaughters and makes shades of men by breathing death upon them. We are very likely to face this being again, as it is hunting one of us native to its plane. And if you could assist in researching and providing any possible information which might be used to hide from or defeat it. This being is an ancient dragon. He breathes fire and shadow. His name is Kazil Pazar. I'm going to get out the drawing that I made of him.
Okay.
And say, this is what he looked like. He initially approached us in human form with fire in his hair and eyes. And he appears somewhat like a fire genasi, except maybe a little more fiery. He is a powerful spellcaster. I do not recall any reference to the name Kazil Pazar in any of my studies of archmages. He heavily favors counterspell and disintegration, and He has a hide of scales that is protected by mysterious sheen. It weakens blows from mundane arrows, arcane forces, acids, mental attacks, sick burns from our bard, and even radiant holy flames. We are currently in, what's the name of the town that we're in?
Caer-Dineval.
We are currently in Caer-Dineval. And we are, I guess we'll just have to keep the speaker informed of where we head next so that if help does arrive, then it knows where to find us. If you can provide any useful information concerning this person or perhaps insight into any encounters of other beings like him, please send help as soon as possible. If this help comes in the form of book transcriptions, I will gladly pay the fees associated with their transcribing as soon as I can get back to Candlekeep. In our travels, you will also be eager to learn that we have encountered a cursed crystalline material called shunted, which drives men mad and empowers fell constructs capable of great destruction and evil. There is a frozen curse on the land that prevents us from leaving, and since you are the great reader of curses, you might find that interesting. It is thankfully possible to send information, at least. This curse, it may still be possible to enter Icewind Dale via teleportation, but attempting to leave is apparently met with persistent failure. The shunted is of great interest as we have found a way to purge the darkness from it, rendering it prized, purified form, which seems to amplify and focus the weave in a variety of useful ways, which is probably also of interest to you. I am asking for your assistance to provide, if it can be spared, a scholar who can perform the spell Greater Restoration. There is a lot of purification work left to be done, and in exchange for access to the purified shunted and a sizable haul of that material to return to the keep for research purposes, we would ask that the crystal material is cleansed completely. This purification work has become somewhat of a suspended task, and we could use some outside assistance. If this is valuable enough to send help, please consider lending a sending stone for ease in future information sharing. Also, if you maybe have a ring of necrotic resistance lying around, that might help us if we ever run into that dragon again. I have also, in my travels, met an ancient Netherese warrior priest who may be of great interest to you, as he is an anointed protector of the weave and dedicated servant of Mistra. I may be able to secure a exclusive interview with the great reader of the weave, and if that's of interest to you. That's all I can say about that right now. But I believe you both have much of interest to learn from each other, since you both specialize in the weave, but come from different times. With regard to another curse you may be interested in, my associates and I had met with a tribe of Goliaths whose camp was close to a mysterious cave. Some who ventured inside were subjected to horrifying visions of the future. I myself was subjected to this curse, which sadly threatens my ability to set foot in Candlekeep without first breaking that. I do look forward to hearing your response, and at this point I'm going to turn to the party and say, does anybody want to say anything to Tellez Avost while the scrying spell is up? He is the great reader in Candlekeep, and he specializes in curses, the weave, and magic items.
If you perhaps know of any way to return me to the world of Kryn, that would be fantastic.
Anybody else have anything that they want to say out loud? Because I can't provide any response from the guy because he can't talk.
The only thing that I would say is I would probably say something to the effect that, well, actually, no, I'm not going to say anything.
I didn't think you would.
Okay. The other thing that Imral notices is that as Tresemme is still present, she looks at you and says, I see it.
Yeah, she can see invisibility, right?
Oh shit! What? I'll look through her eyes. I think I use her senses when I.
And as you do, you see floating above Maxwell is a translucent orb that floats and hovers above him, almost unmoving. But she, Tresemme will respond, I see it. I see the eye that is seeing you.
That is seeing me.
Or him, or us.
This is the scrying spell, but it's looking at me and my whereabouts, and if you're near me, then it can see you too.
Correct.
Right. Oh, yeah. You only see the one eye, Tresemme.
Yes, the one eye.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like Max. Right.
Right. Yeah. Okay. But that's. I don't think Emerald would have known that she could see invisible things, but now that he does, that's good to know. Okay, cool.
It's all coming full circle. Finally, he realizes he's the creature that he has as a familiar is not as useless as he once thought.
I never thought she was useless. I just, only have used her in a very limited capacity until now.
Yes, that's putting it very lightly. As I don't know if you have realized what the wisdom saving throws are for.
Well, yeah,
I did.
but I have my necklace, so I haven't had to make one.
No, you're right, and that's a good thing. But now,
Unfortunately, it doesn't do us much good.
Nope.
Because he's now seen everyone.
Yep. And at this point, Tresemme will notice that the eye itself is starting to dim, and it Tresemme would probably come up to Imral and just pat the top of his head and just curl up on the top of his head and lay down.
I'll reach up and give her stitches on her head and shoulders.
She starts to purr and hum like a Mustang. Just
I'll just tell Liz, thank you for your attention and your time.
and at that point, Imral, she would say, it has gone.
Thank you.
So, without further ado, is there anything else that anybody would like to do before we just end?
Oh, hey, Emerald, I think you wanted to make a phone call yourself, right?
Yeah, that can wait till next session. I got to put like a message together for that and figure out what exactly it is I'm going to say.
Okay.
But thank you for the reminder. I do appreciate that.
Back the helmet and reattune to my other stuff. Oh, by the way, if you've got a spare attunement slot, this gives me 9 hit points, and so I've already got 16 Constitution without the amulet. So if you want it back, and maybe it's more valuable to you than it is to me.
It honestly, I have other things that I would rather be attuned to.
Okay.
So if you could use it, it'd be better with you than sitting unused in my inventory.
Okay.
Although, actually, one of my attunement slots is being taken by that amulet of proof against detection and location. But since he can detect all of you now, and we're all together anyways.
Yeah, you want to take it back?
Yeah, maybe I will.
Okay, I'll take it off of my guy.
Thank you. Sorry, this wasn't as much use as you had hoped.
It's a good item. I just am naturally very healthy. I got a 16 con.
He's got
I
a
have
very
a 0.
robust constitution.
I have a 10, so I am soup squishy.
Yeah, that's definitely better on you. All right, let me unattune to that.
I will reattune both those then. Thank you.
All right, and with that, I think that we should end here, as it seems like this might be the good time to end it.
Holy crap, guys! That brings me up almost 30 hit points.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Should be 4 hit points per level.
God damn.
So did we actually get the long rest? Can we mark that off?
Yes, you can start the next session with a long rest. Correct.
Woo.
Cool.
No. Control.
All right, well, we're going to end that there, and hopefully we won't have any roadblocks or speed bumps for next week, and we'll see what the future holds. And with that,
That's good.
take it easy, y'all. We'll see you in the next recording soon.